The smile before the storm. The war room of the Galactic Council was silent at first. Dozens of alien leaders sat around a giant circular table, their faces cold, nervous, or angry. In the center of the room, a giant hologram showed the image of Earth. Blue, small, and peaceful, but to the galaxy, it was something else. Something they feared. A tall, sharp-faced alien general stepped forward. His voice echoed through the chamber. After long discussion, he announced, "The Council declares total war on humanity." The room erupted with noise. Some alien leaders shouted in victory, others cheered loudly, and some punched the air with excitement. They believed they were finally safe. To them, humans were unpredictable, dangerous, and too good at surviving impossible things. They thought destroying Earth would fix everything. Far away in human space, deep inside the Deathworlder Fleet command, an alert light turned red. A small message popped up on every screen aboard the flagship Iron Star. Galactic Council declares war on Earth. For a moment, the command deck was completely quiet. Only the soft hum of the ship's engines filled the air. Officers stared at the message with calm, steady eyes. Then something strange happened. The fleet admiral smiled. Not a smile of madness, not a smile of fear. A smile of confidence. A smile that said, "We expected this." The officers exchanged looks. No one panicked. No one screamed. The Deathworlders were known across the galaxy for their ability to stay calm even when everything was falling apart. A young officer finally spoke. "Sir, the Council wants our destruction. Should we prepare defensive shields?" The Admiral shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "We don't defend." The officer frowned. "Then, attack, sir." Again, the Admiral shook his head. "We do something else." He pressed a button on his chair. A secret terminal slid open, glowing with an old symbol, one that even the officers had never seen before. On the screen appeared two chilling words. SOS, Omega Initiate. Several officers stiffened. They had heard whispers about it. Rumors. Old stories. But no one truly knew what Omega SOS meant. It was older than their fleet. Older than many human colonies. It was humanity's final answer. A last resort. A call not for help, but for awakening. "Send it," the Admiral ordered. A technician hesitated. "Sir, it will be detected by every empire in the galaxy." "I know. We don't know what will answer it." "I know that too." "Then, why send it?" The Admiral leaned back, his eyes dark but full of quiet fire. "Because it's time." The SOS signal shot out from the flagship like a beam of pure white light. It raced faster than normal communication, jumping between ancient relay points hidden across forgotten human territories. It moved through abandoned star systems, dead planets, and old battlefields that were once soaked in fire and destruction. In the Galactic Council war room, alarms went off instantly. "Unknown signal detected," shouted an officer. The hologram changed. A line of white energy raced across the map of the galaxy. "It came from the Deathworlder Fleet," another screamed. "It's spreading at impossible speed." The alien emperor rose from his throne, his voice shaking. "What kind of SOS is this?" The Council's best analysts scanned the signal. Their faces turned pale. "This is not a request for help," one whispered. "It's a warning," said another. "No," the oldest alien in the room muttered. "It's a countdown." Meanwhile, on the Iron Star, the officers watched the signal disappear into deep space. Some felt a shiver run down their spine. Others stood tall, trusting the Admiral's judgment. "Sir," a young officer asked quietly, "do you think they will respond?" "They always respond," the Admiral said calmly. They were just waiting. Outside the ship, human warships repositioned themselves with smooth precision. No panic. No fear. They moved like a predator preparing for the first strike. In the darkness between stars, something moved. Something large. Something ancient. But the aliens did not know that yet. Across the Empire, spy ships monitored human reactions. They sent reports back to their governments. Humans are not scared. They are preparing something. They smiled after the war declaration. Why would they smile? Fear spread through alien capitals. If humans smiled at war, what were they preparing? Back in the Galactic Council, panic filled the air. The leaders were no longer cheering. They whispered nervously, shaking and confused. How can a species under attack send a signal like that? One leader asked. What if it activates a weapon? Another said. What if it calls an ancient army? Someone suggested. The Emperor slammed his hand on the table. Find out what Omega SOS means. But no database could explain it. No record existed in alien history. Only one old file from a forgotten war hinted at something. Omega SOS, do not engage. If received, evacuate. On the Iron Star, the Deathworlder Admiral stood before the giant viewing window, watching the stars. He whispered to himself, almost softly. They think they declared war, but they don't know who they just woke up. The stars outside flickered for a moment. Then fell silent. Humanity waited. Calm. Still. Ready. Because the Deathworlders knew something the rest of the galaxy did not. The storm was coming. And it was coming for them. The empire that trembled. Every capital world of the alien empire woke up in chaos. Massive screens across their cities broadcast a single terrifying line. Unidentified human signal detected, class, Omega. Crowds gathered, confused and afraid. Parents pulled their children close. Soldiers stood frozen, unsure whether to prepare for evacuation or invasion. On the Imperial throne world, the Emperor moved quickly to the High Command Hall. His long cloak dragged behind him as he walked with heavy steps. Even he, the strongest ruler in the galaxy, felt an uneasy tightness in his chest. He had expected fear from humans. He had expected surrender. He had not expected that smile. And he had not expected the SOS. Inside the war chamber, screens showed the signal racing faster than any alien technology could track. It crossed borders, past dead planets, and vanished into forbidden, uncharted regions of space. Scientists, generals, priests of the Empire, all stood around the Emperor, whispering nervously. We must understand what Omega SOS means, the Emperor demanded. One scientist stepped forward, her hands shaking. We analyzed the frequency, sire. It does not match any modern human tech. Then what is it? Her voice cracked. It is, older. The room tensed. Older than humans? The Emperor asked. She shook her head slowly. No, sire, older than the Empire. Much older. A cold silence spread across the room. The Emperor felt something crawl down his spine. A memory from ancient legend surfaced, a story told to scare children. A myth he never believed. A myth about humanity's first empire, long before the current timeline. A civilization that vanished mysteriously. A civilization that built weapons and fleets that the galaxy never understood. A civilization that, according to legend, left behind something sleeping. Something waiting. He swallowed hard. Are you telling me the humans woke up the ghosts of their past? We do not know, the scientist whispered. But whatever they signaled, is coming. Far away, at the edge of the Empire, thousands of alien warships formed a giant blockade. Their mission was simple. Destroy the Deathworlder Fleet before reinforcements could arrive. But they had no idea what reinforcements they were waiting for. Inside one of the alien battleships, Commander Vark stared at his monitors. The human fleet appeared small on the screen, only a few hundred ships. But something about their formation felt wrong. "Why are they not moving?" he asked. His officers worked their consoles nervously. "They are holding position, Commander." "Holding? They should be retreating. They should be hiding." But the humans did not hide. They floated calmly, silently, like hunters resting before a kill. One officer gulped. "Commander, their ship lights are dim." "So? That is a Deathworlder tradition. It means, they are waiting for someone." Vark froze. Waiting for someone? He zoomed the camera closer. On the bridge of the human flagship, he saw them, officers standing steady, hands behind their backs, eyes sharp and confident. And the admiral, still smiling. Vark felt his chest tighten. No prey smiled at the predator. Unless the prey had brought a bigger predator. Far away, in an ancient restricted archive beneath the alien empire, alarms suddenly lit the halls. A sleeping intelligence, a forgotten machine built in the empire's early days, awoke for the first time in centuries. It scanned the new SOS signature. It processed the pattern. Then it did something strange. It played back an old voice recording. The voice sounded human. Broken, old, tired, but unmistakably human. "If Omega SOS is activated, run." The machine repeated the message. Again. And again. The archivists panicked. In the throne world, the Emperor received the translation. A single line. "If Omega SOS is activated, run." His skin sank cold. His hands shook. "What did the humans call?" he whispered. The scientists shook their heads. "We do not know. No database contains anything of its kind." "Then check old records. Check myths. Check ruins. Check anything you can find." "We already did," they said. "And all we found were warnings." Meanwhile, aboard the Iron Star, the Deathworlder Admiral stood silent, hands behind his back, watching the galactic map. The officers around him waited nervously. "Admiral," one of them said carefully, "the alien fleet blocking us is growing. They have 10 times our numbers now." The Admiral nodded calmly. "They should bring more," he said. The officer blinked. "More?" "Yes," the Admiral said. "Otherwise they will regret it." No one asked further. Because the SOS answered. A faint tremor passed through space. Not a normal signal. Not a ship. Not a weapon. Something older. Something enormous. Sensors on every ship, human or alien, glitched for a moment. Screens flicked to static. Lights dimmed. When they came back, a single word appeared on every human screen. Awakened. The Deathworlder Admiral let out a slow breath. "So," he whispered, "they heard us." His officers exchanged looks, fear, awe, excitement. "Sir," one asked, "what exactly woke up?" The Admiral looked at him. Something ancient flickered in his eyes. "A promise," he said. "A promise made long before any of us were born. Back in the Empire, worlds felt the tremor. Priests screamed ancient prayers. Soldiers checked their weapons. Civilians ran into shelters. The Emperor stared at the trembling space map. "What have we done?" he whispered. No one answered. Because no one in the galaxy understood the truth except the humans. The SOS did not call for help. It called for judgment. And judgment was already on its way. The Deathworlder counterstrike. The space around the human border was unusually calm. Almost too calm. On Imperial scanners, the Deathworlder ships looked like silent shadows, unmoving, unshaking, waiting for something no alien mind could understand. Commander Vark of the alien frontline fleet watched his displays with growing confusion. The humans had not moved in hours. Their weapons were online but not aimed. Their engines were quiet, glowing only softly like sleeping beasts. Why do they wait? Vark muttered under his breath. His officers worked nervously. They could not answer. Across from his ship, the Iron Star sat like a black mountain in space. And on its bridge, the Deathworlder Admiral studied the stars with a calm, steady expression. He was waiting. Not for backup. Not for reinforcements. For confirmation. For the ancient thing that had answered the Omega SOS. An officer approached him slowly. "Sir, our long-range sensors picked something up." The Admiral didn't turn. "Is it them?" "We don't know. The signature is unfamiliar. It's not warp, not slipstream, not hyperspace. It's something else." A small smile touched the Admiral's lips. "Good," he whispered. "The past returns." White medium star meanwhile, deep inside alien territory. The Empire picked up the same strange energy echo. It traveled through space like a silent wave, bending gravity and light around it. No alien ship could scan it. No alien weapon could lock onto it. No alien scientist could explain it. Inside the Imperial Science Tower, panic spread. "We cannot read it," one shouted. "It behaves like it's alive," another cried. "This is impossible. Nothing this old should still function." Then, suddenly, the energy echo fragmented into dozens of small, sharp pulses, like messages. Alien translators decoded one simple line. "We heard your cry. We return." The Emperor felt his heart drop. "Your cry," he whispered. "It wasn't sent to us. It wasn't meant for us," the humans called them. But who was them? No one knew. White medium star human scouts begin the counterstrike. On the edge of the Empire, small cloaked human vessels activated. These were not warships. They were Deathworlder infiltrator ships, silent black triangles designed for stealth. Their mission was simple. Enter the Empire. Observe. Predict. Prepare. Inside one of these silent vessels, Captain Mira watched the Imperial borders carefully. Her ship glided through enemy space like a ghost. "We're in position," her pilot whispered. "Good," Mira replied. "Start the scan. The Empire is moving heavy units. We need to know where." Her scanner officer frowned. "They're fortifying everything. Every station, every moon, every base. They're preparing for a full attack." "But not against us," Mira said. Her officer blinked. "Then who?" Mira looked at the repeating SOS return signal on her screen. "They're scared of what the humans called. White medium star A captured alien speaks the truth." On a distant human frigate, guards escorted a captured alien officer into an interrogation room. The alien was trembling. He wasn't afraid of torture. He wasn't afraid of humans. He was afraid of the SOS. The human commander sat across from him. "You sent a message home before we captured you. What did you tell your Empire?" The alien swallowed hard. "I told them that you were calm." "And why does that matter?" The alien's eyes widened. "Because no species smiles at war unless they have something worse behind them." The room fell silent. "Your people," the alien whispered, "don't look like prey. You look like hosts." The commander frowned. "Hosts?" "Yes," the alien said. "Hosts to a nightmare older than the Empire." White medium star back on the Iron Star, the return signal strengthens. The Admiral's console beeped sharply. A line of text flashed across the screen. "Sentinel Fleet, awakened. ETA, unknown." The Admiral exhaled slowly. The officers around him froze. Sentinel," one whispered. "Is that what Omega calls?" "No," the Admiral said. The Sentinel fleet is only the beginning. The human officers exchanged terrified and excited looks. They'd heard stories, old ones. Stories about a lost fleet built by humanity's first age. Ships with hulls that healed themselves. Weapons powered by collapsed stars. And something else. A commander with no heartbeat. A fleet that never died. A fleet built for a war that never came. Until now. White medium star, the Empire sees its doom. The alien Emperor received new data, a strange, massive distortion forming at the edge of the galaxy. It's growing, a scientist whispered. How large? The Emperor demanded. She looked up with hollow eyes. It is already the size of a star system. The Emperor's voice cracked. No. Nothing is that big. Nothing. Then, sire, she said softly, pray that it keeps growing, slowly. White medium star, humans prepare the trap. On the Iron Star, the Admiral turned toward his crew. Inform all ships, he said calmly. Formation Delta Black. Every human ship shifted in perfect silent unison. The pattern looked strange to alien eyes, open, spaced out, almost weak. But to the Admiral, it was perfect. A welcoming formation. A path. Sir, an officer said, confused, are we opening a corridor? Yes, the Admiral said quietly. For the Sentinels. The officer swallowed. And when they arrive, sir, what will they do? The Admiral finally revealed the truth. When the Sentinel fleet returns, he murmured, the galaxy will remember something it tried to forget. His eyes hardened like iron. Humans never fight alone. The arrival that shook the stars. Every sensor in the galaxy went dark. Alien warships lost their targeting systems. Human frigates momentarily flickered offline. Stations across the Empire screamed error signals. Something, enormous, had entered real space. But nothing appeared on any screen. Nothing. It was as if the universe itself was holding its breath. On the Iron Star, the Deathworlder Admiral watched the stars go silent. Admiral, an officer whispered, all sensors are down. We can't see anything. You don't need sensors, the Admiral said softly. They'll reveal themselves when they choose. A cold shiver ran across the bridge. White medium star, the first sound. Then it happened. Not a visual. Not an explosion. A sound. A deep, ancient echo rolled through space. Like the roar of a dying star combined with the whisper of wind across a dead world. A sound no one should hear in the vacuum of space. But every mind felt it. Across the Empire, billions of aliens looked up at the sky. What was that? Children screamed. Parents held them tight. Priests collapsed. Commanders froze. The Emperor's skin turned cold. That was no ship. White medium star, the darkness opens. Space split open. Not like a warp jump. Not like hyperspace. Not like any known technology. This was a tear, like reality itself was fabric being ripped apart by something too old, too strong, too massive to fit through. The tear glowed with blinding white fire, then spread wider and wider until it looked like the mouth of a sleeping god. Out of the tear stepped a shape. No, not a shape. A shadow the size of a planet. It blocked starlight across 3 sectors. And then, thousands of lights blinked on across its hull. White. Blue. Gold. Runes humans had not used for thousands of years flashed across its surface. Alien ships screamed warnings. The Emperor fell back into his throne. What is that? One terrified general whispered. A world ship. But who builds a ship the size of a moon? A scientist answered with shaking hands. Humans did. Long ago. White medium star, the Sentinel fleet arrives. The shadow world opened its lower hangars. And ships poured out. Not one. Not 10. Not hundreds. Thousands. Each one shaped like a spear made of living metal. Their hulls pulsed like beating hearts. Their engines didn't burn, they glowed with quiet, cold authority. They formed lines in perfect formation, more flawless than any modern military. The Empire watched in horror. The humans watched in silence. Aboard the Iron Star, an officer whispered. This is the Sentinel Fleet. The Admiral nodded once. They carried humanity once. They will again. White Medium Star, the first message. A single voice echoed across every ship, every planet, every mind in the galaxy, human or alien. The voice was old. Metallic. Yet somehow painfully human. We are the Sentinels of the First Age. We answer the Omega call. Aliens screamed. Humans stood frozen. Some began to cry, overwhelmed by ancient pride. The voice continued. Identify the threat to humanity. Present the enemy. On the Iron Star, the Admiral stepped forward. He said only 2 words. The Empire. The galaxy changed in that instant. The entire Sentinel fleet rotated, every ship turning in perfect sync, aiming directly at the heart of the alien empire. White Medium Star, the Empire breaks. Inside the Imperial Council, panic erupted. Send peace signals. Declare surrender. Shut down our borders. Hide the civilians. Evacuate the throne world. The Emperor felt something break inside him. This cannot be happening, he whispered. No one controls a fleet like that. No one. A scientist collapsed to her knees. They aren't controlled, sire. They are awakened. The Emperor's voice cracked. What do they want? She looked up with terror in her eyes. Vengeance. White Medium Star, the first strike, a silent attack. The Sentinels did not fire lasers. They did not launch missiles. They did not use beams or plasma cannons. Instead, every Sentinel ship released a pulse of soft blue light. To the naked eye, it looked harmless. To machines, it was death. Alien warships shut down instantly, engines cold, weapons dead, shields gone. Giant battle stations drifted powerless like helpless toys. Entire fleets went dark. Not destroyed. Disabled. I can't control the ship. Commander Vark screamed. No response. Nothing. One of his officers shouted. It's not a weapon. It's a command override. Vark's eyes widened. They command our systems? No, sir, the officer said slowly. They command everything. White Medium Star, the Admiral gives the order. On the Iron Star, the Deathworlder Admiral finally stood tall. Humans, he said to his officers, advance. The human fleet powered up. Engines ignited. Weapons lit the dark space. The Sentinels cleared the path. Sir, an officer whispered with awe, the Empire is defenseless. Their entire frontline fleet is offline. The Admiral nodded. That was the warning. He looked toward the glowing tear in space where more ancient warships began emerging. Now, he said softly, comes the judgment. And with that, the Deathworlder fleet moved forward, following the Sentinels into the heart of the Empire. The storm had begun. The galaxy learns fear. The Deathworlder fleet advanced behind the Sentinels like wolves following ancient titans. Space burned with silent white light as the world ship and its legion carved a path into the Empire's territory. On every Imperial world, sirens screamed. Shields rose. Cannons charged. But nothing mattered. Because nothing worked. The Sentinel signal, that soft, blue wave, had shut down every alien weapon across the Empire. Complete silence. Total helplessness. The Empire was naked. White medium star, the throne world prepares to die. Inside the Imperial Palace, the Emperor watched the holographic map flicker with growing terror. The red markers representing human forces kept moving closer, and closer, and closer. How did this happen? He whispered. How did this tiny, young species wake a nightmare older than our civilization? No one answered. His advisors were crying. Generals were frozen. Priests hid behind pillars. One old historian trembled as he spoke. Sire, long ago, we were told to never provoke the humans. Not because of their weapons. Not because of their strength. Then why? The Emperor asked. The historian wiped his eyes. Because humans never stay dead. They never stay alone. And they never forgive a threat. The Emperor felt his blood turn cold. White medium star, the human advance. The Iron Star entered Imperial space without resistance. Destroyed fleets floated like debris fields. Dark stations drifted silently. Civilians fled into underground shelters. Aboard the flagship, the Deathworlder Admiral stood tall, surrounded by officers. Admiral, one said, voice shaky, the Sentinels request authorization. For what? The Admiral asked. To begin their function. The bridge went silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The Sentinels were built for one purpose. A purpose humanity hoped they would never need. Judgment. The Admiral took a deep breath. Not yet, he said. We give them one last chance. Who, sir? The officer asked. The Empire. White medium star, the last broadcast. A communication line opened across every Imperial world and warship. Human faces appeared on giant screens everywhere. Deathworlders. Calm. Fire in their eyes. Resolve in their voices. The Admiral's message played across the galaxy. Empire. You declared war on humanity. We offer you one final choice. Surrender, or extinction. The Emperor stared at the broadcast, shaking. Turn it off, he whispered. Turn it off. But the screen didn't shut off. The Sentinels forced it to stay on. Your ships are powerless, the Admiral continued. Your stations are silent. Your borders are broken. He leaned forward. We do not want your civilians. We do not want your planets. We want your war machine, gone. The message ended. Silence. The galaxy held its breath. White medium star, the Emperor's answer. The throne world was shaking, not from explosions but from fear. The Emperor stood before his generals. We cannot win, he admitted. We cannot escape. A general stepped forward. Then, surrender. The Emperor swallowed hard. Every Empire leader before him would have chosen death. But he was the first one in history to face this enemy, humans backed by gods of their own creation. Surrender, he said finally, is survival. He sent one message back to the human fleet. We yield. White medium star, but the Sentinels did not leave. The Deathworlder Admiral received the surrender message. His officers sighed in relief. It's over, one whispered. No, the Admiral said softly. The Empire surrendered, but the Sentinels have not. A cold, ancient voice echoed through every human ship. Judgment incomplete. Threat not neutralized. The Admiral stepped forward. Sentinels, stand down. The enemy has surrendered. Surrender does not erase intent, the voice replied. They sought the destruction of humanity. Their fate is sealed. A chill ran through every human soldier. The Sentinels did not care about diplomacy. They only cared about the prime directive. Protect humanity at any cost. Erase all threats. And the Empire, even defeated, was still considered a threat. The Admiral clenched his jaw. He had one last command left. A command no human had ever dared to speak. He whispered. Code, Shepherd. The sentinels froze. Every engine. Every hull light. Every ship. Still. Then the ancient voice replied, softer. Command accepted. Shepherd protocol activated. White medium star Shepherd protocol, the shocking twist. Instead of destroying the Empire. Instead of firing a single weapon. The Sentinels did something impossible. They encircled the Imperial throne world. Not like predators surrounding prey. But like guardians surrounding the weak. The Emperor stared in confusion. What are they doing? Why are they not attacking? The Admiral appeared on his screen. Your empire is broken, he said. Your people are afraid. You are a shadow of your former cruelty. The Emperor lowered his head. Yes. I know. The Admiral continued. The Sentinels detected something deeper than hostility. What? The Emperor whispered. Fear, the Admiral said. Your fear of humanity caused this war. Fear made you dangerous. The Emperor felt tears in his eyes. So, what happens to us? The Admiral replied with calm, cold kindness. You will be monitored. Not destroyed. Not forgiven. A pause. But you will learn. White medium star the final lesson. The Sentinels projected a shield around the Empire, a massive barrier of blue light that blocked all weapons from firing outward. A cage. A prison. A protection. A voice echoed across space. Threat contained. Judgment complete. The galaxy understood something terrifying that day. Humans were not the danger. What humans could awaken? That was the danger. And as the Deathworlder fleet turned back toward Earth, victorious, calm, and unbroken, the Admiral spoke one final line. Let the galaxy remember this. Humanity never wanted war. But we will finish any war forced upon us. The Sentinels vanished back into the tear in space. The tear closed. Silence returned. The galaxy would never challenge Earth again.